We mentioned this last time, but you take all these ideas, think about the verbiage, the tent of the deity, the mountain language, the garden language, tabernacling, the temple. This language gets drawn into the New Testament in really interesting ways. And we'll park here a little bit on John, a little bit on what Paul says. John portrays Jesus as not only revealing the divine presence in the midst of the temple, this is John chapter 4, by the way, but also replacing the temple as the locus of divine presence. This replacement joins with a number of other implied replacements to form part of a conceptual web that portrays, through the narrative, the point that Jesus has come as the fulfillment of the plans and purposes of God in the Old Testament revelation. To finish the quote, the various strands of this web include replacements of holy space. So a couple of these references, we'll just start with John 4, the last one. John 4 is the passage where Jesus ticks, the religious leaders off by saying, destroy this temple and I'll raise it up in 3 days. And they're like, you're just a moron, because it took us like how many years? They're thinking he's talking about the building that they think God cares about. Not so much. John says he spoke of the temple, which was his body. It's a reference to the resurrection. John 1:51, this is the passage where Jesus has met Nathanael, and Nathanael, can any good thing come out of Nazareth? And, Jesus shows up and he says, basically, before I got here, I saw you when you were under the tree and all that. And they have this little exchange. And it says, Nathanael says, wow, okay, I believe you. And Jesus says, you believe that? You're going to see a whole lot better than this. And he actually says, you will, before it's all over, and I'm paraphrasing, you will see angels ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. Now, the weird thing is, that never happens in the gospel. You never have an episode where angels are coming up and down on Jesus. What's it a reference to? Ascending and descending, what does it make you think of? Where have you seen that phrase before? Jacob's ladder. What's the ladder? Again, if you did a little digging and word study, it's one of these ziggurat kind of buildings. It's the cosmic mountain. It's the place of divine presence. Isn't that what Jesus is? Place of divine presence? So by describing Jacob's epiphany, Jacob's encounter with the God of Israel, they take that language and apply it to Jesus. When do we see angels associated with Jesus? Especially the death, which of course winds up in a garden, and Mary supposes that he was the gardener. Again, all of these sort of throwaway descriptions and these sort of odd cryptic references, they're designed to make people think, okay, now what could that possibly, where have we seen this language before? Jesus is the new Jacob. Why is that important? Because Jacob is the one who inherited the promise from Isaac. Jacob is the one who meets God at Bethel. He builds an altar there. Jacob is the one who he's there on the spot where God is. Yahweh's right there next to him, or on top of the ladder, however you want to translate that. All these things about Jacob. Jacob is Israel. That's what he is. Jacob's name is changed to Israel. Jesus is the new Jacob. He is the new Israel. He is the son of God. Israel's called the son of God. Remember when Moses goes in before Pharaoh? Let my people go. Why? Okay, yeah, to go out and sacrifice to me. But in that passage, Israel is called the son of God, singular. Let my son go that he may go out and worship me in the desert. That's the demand put before Pharaoh. Israel is the son, collectively. Well, that's Jesus. Again, all these things tether together conceptually in little words or phrases or pictorial images. And in this case, it's about sacred space. Again, there are just a number of these that you could go to. I'm hurrying here a little bit. The temple, of course, Jesus' body. That's what he is, because he's God incarnate. God is living inside the flesh, the body of this man, the incarnation. Again, angels of God coming and going. We'll end here. All of this is transferred to believers, all this language. This is why we are called the temple. This is why we are called the building stones of the temple. This is why Peter says that we tabernacle on this earth in earthen bodies, earthen temples in his epistles. Paul, several places, you collectively are the temple of God, individually you're the temple of God. All of this language is deliberate. You are sacred space. This is the logic or the rationale for how you should treat not only your body, but other believers. You don't violate them, okay? It's sacred space. Of course, you would behave differently here than something that's just common or mundane. Again, that's real quick, but you get this because we are the temple, because we are the body of Christ, and Christ's body is the temple because he was God incarnate.